Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor and glory to his due. To Yahweh, Bahashim Yaseh, Bahashim Das, giving all glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh, Bahashim Yaseh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us the truth. Salutations to the sincere brother out there who preaching this truth and edifying the brothers and sisters while studying Jesus. And salutations to the elect scattered abroad. Today, this brother I welcome back to today through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Shabbat Shem Kakatas with another lesson. Just going into this news. This is April 2nd. What is today? April 4th. And so this is from a couple days ago. And just like you for the sounds in the background. Just gonna get into this and then bring out a scripture or so. So this is from the Los Angeles Times. It says Asian countries impose new restrictions as coronavirus cases come roaring back. And that don't sound too good, roaring back. Definition of roaring. So it says like booming, great in here it is. Great in intensity or degree in the roaring heat, a roaring success. So it's like a great in intensity. So a great in degree. So come. So to Merriam-Webster, I say roaring. So like I said, great intensity or degree. That's about all. That's about all it is. So great in intensity or degree. And it says after appearing to have the virus under control, Singapore, Vietnam, and Hong Kong are imposing new controls as COVID-19 infections continue to rise. And that's what it is. It says Vietnam. Oh yeah, I was going to name the title. There is no escape because you can't escape. You can't escape the Lord's wrath, man. And they was talking about the other day, or like I guess it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago that everybody was all happy about. Well, China, their cases stopped. Their cases stopped, and they've even seen a negative case like people like ain't received no case and people getting better. And you just then everybody thinks China's out the water and everything. Well, China got through it. We can get through it too. But now you see that even China, they getting more cases. As it says, they come roaring back in Asian countries. And again, it's from April 2nd. It says Vietnam has banned public gatherings of more than 2 people. Hong Kong has closed nightclubs, karaoke bars, and mahjong parlors and deployed health inspectors to check that restaurants are seating parties at least 6 feet apart. Singapore has warned that anyone standing within 3 feet of another person in line could face up to 6 months in jail. Damn. And they got less cases over there than over here, and they taking more restrictions. They are a communist nation, communist and authoritarian, but still they taking more. They're taking more stricter measures than over here, which that may change. The U.S. could start making stricter policies. Lord willing. So it says suddenly Asian governments that appear to be bringing the coronavirus under control are imposing new social restrictions as the number of infections, many from overseas, continue to rise. It says, in places that took early effective actions against the COVID-19 outbreak, the stepped up measures in recent days are a sign that fighting the disease will take much longer than anticipated. They also show that governments must adapt their responses as the threat from the virus evolves, epidemiologists say. We have to find measures that can control, slow down the virus, and do so in a way that is sustainable, not just for 2 weeks, 2 months, but all the way through to the end of the year, Lawrence Wong, whoever said this week. It says, the novel coronavirus is now widespread that it's highly unlikely that our current control measures would be able to drive this virus out of the human population, said Oi Ingong, the fuck kind of name, deputy. Says, without a vaccine or antiviral drug, we should expect to deal with this virus for the long haul. Um, so that has become clear as several Asian countries see infections rising rapidly, most commonly in people who travel to newer hotspots such as the US and Europe. Singapore and Vietnam, despite their proximity to the source of the outbreak in China, managed to keep a lid on coronavirus cases starting in January thanks to vigilant travel screening. It says Hong Kong quickly closed schools, museums, and government buildings, although residents were otherwise spared the hugely disruptive shutdowns and shelter-in-place orders now in force in much of the U.S. It says, in the last 2 weeks, the number of the cases in Singapore has quadrupled to more than 1,000. Most were recent travelers who were immediately placed in isolation to reduce the risk of transmission. It says new infections are also emerging in people with no recent travel history, a worrying sign that the disease continues to circulate in the community more than 2 months after Singapore's first controls were implemented. On Thursday, Singapore announced 74 new infections, its highest single-day total. 54 of them were from transmission within the community. 10 were linked to a senior citizens' home, prompting the government to announce a month-long ban on visitors to nursing home island-wide. There's one little paragraph I wanted to get. Where is it at? Slovakia. I think that might have been it. It says, with the second wave, we are finding it a lot harder to control local spread as well as stop imported cases, said Paul. That is something that all countries will probably eventually discover. So they say that it's a lot harder on the second wave. Vietnam among the first countries to block travel from China and close schools went 3 weeks without recording a new infection. In the last month, however, the number of confirmed cases risen from 16 to more than 220. See, so they didn't have a new infection for 3 weeks, and out of nowhere they go from 16 to 220. You see? If you want to read the rest of it, you can. But one scripture, I believe it's 10-second Ezra 16. Okay. So this second Ezra 16 from the top. Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with clothes of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you who may quench it. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? And you see the plagues were sent under Asa, and they tried to drive them away, but they couldn't. Because it's the Most High's doing, man. If the Most High wants the plague to be drawn away, he's gonna drive them away, but they can't do it themselves. And you see that the plagues came back, just like a sword is sent upon you, who may turn it back. Then plagues was sent back, and it didn't turn back. Who's gonna turn it back but the Most High? Verse 6, it says, "May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, and may any one quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn. May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. Slacky. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that drive them away? So Khan can't drive these plagues away. That's also referring to the missiles. I feel like they're another one. Slacky. That might have been it. But also, let's see if I can look up Asia. There it is. Second Ezra 15. This is Second Ezra 15 in verse 46. Second Ezra 15 verse 46 said, "And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and of the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her, that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith the Most High Power, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death." And that's what's happening, especially with the pestilence. The sword, poverty, famine, widowhood. That's all happening to Asia, man. It says, verse 50, "And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall rise that is sent over thee." And their power is being dried up like a flower, man. It says, "Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee." So come, that's what's happening. They being weakened, man. They're being weakened. Mm. And these are all judgments from the Most High. Um, it's like, yeah. Let me see if I can find this. I'll look up Acts. It's like, I wanted to look up. Mm, So this is just basically judgment, and that the Most High ain't going to turn the punishment away. It says Amos 2 verse 1. Thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemeshah, for 3 transgressions of Moab, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he burned the bones of the king of Edom into lime. But I will send a fire upon Moab, and it shall devour the palaces of Keruth, and Moab shall die with tumult, with shouting, and with the sound of the trumpet. And I will cut out the judge from the midst thereof, and will slay all the princes thereof with him, said the Lord Yahweh Shemeshah. So that's just Most High isn't going to turn the punishment away from Moab and nor Ammon. As this says right here, it says for Amos 1 verse 13, thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemeshah, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have ripped up the woman with child of Gilead, that they might enlarge their border. But I will kindle a fire in the wall of Rabbah, and it shall devour the palaces thereof with the shouting, in the day of battle with the tempest, in the day of the whirlwind, and their king shall go into captivity, and he and his princes together, said the Lord. So the Lord ain't going to turn that punishment away from them over Asia. Also because they was with Esau, they consulted together with Esau, as it says in Psalms 83. Go ahead and get that. Psalm 83, verse 2, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. It says, the tabernacle of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Haganahs, Gibah, and Ammon, and Amalek. That's where to get Moab and Ammon. But they consulted together with Edom. They all had something to do with our downfall. Which our downfall is because we going it because we disobeyed the commandments. But they all had a dealing with our punishment, and the Lord ain't gonna turn back that punishment. And also, um, it is Slakia. What is it? This is Jeremiah 30 verse 16. Therefore all, hold on, Slakia. Is that it? Yeah, come. Jeremiah 30 verse 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be spoiled, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And they are adversaries, man. They gonna go into captivity after they receive their judgment, which they are right now. But that's all I had. Like I said, say first and foremost, like I say, Kahalayim La Yahweh Shemeshah Bashemach Kadas. Giving out glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh Shemeshah. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who will tell us truth. Shalom to the sincere brother out there who preaches this truth and never find the brothers his wife studying diligence. And shalom to the less scattered abroad. A little willing the video with edify to the spirit, to the body, to the fold. Till next time, keep pushing forward, stay focused, stay diligent, be circumspect, continue to watch the times, and shalom, Kwame Ashala.